accelerated the growth. And so it's important to understand how to create a proactive regulatory regime for the development of the sector, and which has an impact on the investments which are coming. We have some case studies of private equity in the maritime sector, and we would talk about opportunities for partnership on the private equity side. Now, the way we defined Indian maritime or maritime logistics sector is shipping, ports, shipyards, and logistics. Shipping, we have a very large number of around 700 odd ships and close to almost 12 million DWT. Currently 12, or is it 13, Mr. Kulkarni?
In GT terms, it is almost 8.6 million GT.
Okay, and DWT would be?
DWT would be about in 12.
Yeah, and that has grown very rapidly last 3-4 years. If you look at the net profit CAGR, it is 63%, and the top line has grown by 23%. And this is sort of fleet profile we have. Now, I would like to know from Mr. We will keep interacting, and that's a way to let's say from Mr. Kulkarni. What do you think is the growth in next 5 years? Would we be crossing, let's say, 20 million DWT under Indian tonnage? Or what's the sort of forecast INSA has made for the sector?
If we try to look at the growth, say from 2000 onwards, 2000 perhaps was the new millennium was a path-breaking phase for the shipping industry. We had the Section 33 AC amended that year, and thereafter we had this tonnage tax. So from 2000 onwards, if you see, the year-on-year growth has been about 6 to 7% in the tonnage, except for 2003, 2004, when the growth shot up to almost 16%. But in the last 2 years, again, it has come down to about 6 to 7%, 6 point something. This year till about July, it has been about 4%, which may go up to again 6 to 7%. So that has been the growth since the last 6 years. But INSA is known to always script, and we have been talking to the government for getting some SOPs. We are in the dialogue with the government about this 12 taxes, removal of 12 taxes. We did that exercise, and then the government came back and they said, okay, if we give you this, what is that the industry is going to give back to the. So they said, why don't you put up some figures. We did some number crunching, looking at the growth rate, and we have come out with a scenario for say 10 million GT. When can we achieve 10 million GT? When can we achieve 12 million GT? And when can we achieve 15 million GT? Now, since this forum is more to discuss about the money and all that, again, some back of the envelope calculations. What we have come to is that to achieve a target of 10 million GT, that is approximately we will be needing around, taking into account the scrapping also, about 830 vessels. That would mean in addition of 279 vessels of about 4.16 million GT over and above the new acquisition replacement of 160 ships of 4.96 million GT, for which we will need an investment of approximately 35,000 crores,
which is around close to $8 billion.
Yeah,
I mean that's massive, and that's required in next 5 years.
Yes.
Next.
Then again for 12 million GT, which would mean addition of 404 ships of 6.6 million GT, that would need about 55,000 crores. And case 3 of 15 million GT, which would need about 609 ships of 9.16 million GT. Of course, we have have still further we did something more on this about where the growth could be, whether in tankers or whether in the dry bulkers. That exercise also been done. But in the case 3 scenario, we will need about 80,000 crores. So after having achieved these figures, then the government asked from where is the money going to come, and this is a big question. We have again tried to do something. Just take the the first case of 35,000 crores. Internal resources by shipping companies, we are seeing 3,500 crores. Loans from financial institution 9,500 crores. Shipyard credit 1,600 crores. The tonnage tax reserve about 12,500 crores. FDI 500. BBCD 1,400. Then from taxes, if at all we get the exemption, 6,000 crores, and that comes to about 35,000 crores.
My God.
But again, these are all academic exercise. How are we going to
this is nothing for private equity.
No, of course, that's the reason I have come to ask. Whether
see the figures that you're talking is 35,000 crores for 10 million GT, around 55,000 crores for
12 million GT, and about 80,000, because you have to look into the scrapping also. Saki Sab will throw some light on how the Indian tonnage would get scrapped by the IMO regulations also.
See, as a government is concerned, the main issue is that what are the tangible and intangible benefits, even if for argument's sake we assume this tonnage is going to be added, what the country is going to get out of it. I mean, but just having a tonnage in the Indian flag, does that mean anything to us? That is the kind of question we are grappling with. So, what I would request INSA is to come out with something more concrete, that by simply saying that energy security and adding prestige to the country, that will not carry us very far. We have to say that it will generate employment, it will revitalize the shipbuilding and besides other things. Now, not only say so, but actually do so. I mean, we are now, the first test was, we are terribly short of officers. Here is a tremendous employment opportunity. Now, INSA is not willing to train more people, and they are pressing the government to employ foreigners on Indian ships. So this kind of thing, is not going to help us, in supporting INSA in this kind of adventure. But I can tell you now, recently there was a crisis in Ratnagiri. It is still going on. The LNG tanker ran aground. And under Section 411 of Merchant Shipping Act, the government is empowered to use the Indian asset. And we have requisitioned a Reliance vessel, Nayanthara, to go there and lighten the vessel.
Yeah.
Now, we couldn't do that with any foreign ship. Now, that is a kind of thing we can say, okay, now here is one solid example where a crisis in the country hopefully will be averted because Indian fleet was there at our disposal. So many such examples we have to come out concrete and put it across to the government that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 points where the country, the government is going to benefit, and I'm sure the government will then consider whatever benefits deserve to go to the shipping. Why not?
See, today the business, what it is requiring is, a transparent and very clear regulatory environment. In fact, the business is not looking for capital from the government, which probably used to be the case earlier. In shipping industry, yes, there are some tax concessions, but then also they're looking more as a parity with the international, tax regime. Not really a something which is differentially being there. That's one. Secondly, in terms of the geopolitical, in 20 years from now, 15 years from now, India economic size is going to be probably bigger than most of the, except the US, it will be the biggest, probably $6 to $7 trillion could be the size of the economy, which is very massive, and the kind of geopolitical weight it will have on the neighborhood, on Indian Ocean. So we need to have a large fleet. For example, China has a fleet which is 3 times the size of Indian fleet, and that carries a huge amount of cargo through the inland system, through the sea system, the coastal route, and we need to create, once our rail and road are saturated, another place with the environmental consciousness really coming,